And I want to go across to India's #1 political reporter, Rajdeep Sardesai, who has covered Goa politics for a long time. He's from the area as well. He's looked very closely at all of these. He's going to be joined in a moment, mind you, by the guy who has led this entire big defection in Goa. Rajdeep, you know, these MLAs just 8 months ago had their hands folded, their hand on the constitution with Rahul Gandhi, Chidambaram saying, we pledge our loyalty. You know, it was a very moral, lovely affair where they said, we will not dump the party. What happened, sir?
You know, first of all, Shiv, just to tell you, Digambar Kamat, who in a way can be called the leader of this rebellion, is as we speak leading a procession to a mandir. So he has apologized and said he will join us in an hour or so because he's in that procession leading to a mandir. But to answer your question, this has been in the making, Shiv, ever since the Congress lost out to the BJP. The Congress got 11 seats, the BJP got a majority in the 40-member Goa Assembly when elections were held in March. And since then, a section of the Congress has been feeling completely marginalized. Digambar Kamat, the senior-most leader, former chief minister, was not made the leader of the opposition. Instead, Michael Lobo, who had just been brought in from the BJP a couple of months before the election, was made the leader. So, Digambar Kamat, who's been an old BJP man from the Advani-Vajpayee years, but did not leave the Congress in its worst times between 2012 and 17, felt marginalized. The BJP sensed that there was disenchantment and wanted to strengthen their numbers. Digambar Kamat is a strongman of South Goa. Michael Lobo is a strongman in North Goa. What does the BJP do? They reach out to both of them. We are told, Shiv, that in the month of July, the deal was struck. At that stage, these rebels or defectors had 6 MLAs out of the 11. So they didn't have 2/3. In fact, Bhupendra Yadav had flown down to Goa, but at the last moment had to withdraw because the numbers were not happening. But the BJP persisted. Hemanta Biswa Sarma, the Assam Chief Minister, was put in charge of this operation. He knows a couple of the old Congress MLAs like Sankalp Amonkar from his days in the Congress. He connected with them, and eventually Digambar Kamat and a few of the others met Home Minister Amit Shah, and the deal was struck. The BJP is insisting that no money changed hands, that these are 8 MLAs who have not been even promised ministerships, but that they wanted to leave a sinking ship called the Congress. The Congress, on the other hand, claims that this is another Operation Lotus and money has changed hands. Truth, I think, lies somewhere in between. The fact is, the Congress has been in disarray, Shiv, for the longest time in Goa, and this is yet another blow to the Congress, and it strengthens the Chief Minister, Pramod Sawant, because now he has a comfortable majority.
Yeah, you know, Rajdeep, the Digambar Kamat was quoted just a few moments ago while he was on that procession as saying that I know that I promised in front of God that I will not dump the Congress. But I heard God's voice once again telling me that, you know, in case you want to jump, you are totally allowed to jump. You know, I'm wondering, you know, obviously we are skeptical, sir, about, you know, about morality in politics. But is there something especially immoral about or lack of loyalty in Goa politics that we see this kind of easy movement between parties there, sir?
You know, I think what's happened, Shiv, is post-1990, particularly once Goa had got statehood, the fact is the anti-defection law was almost rendered redundant in a small state, 40 MLAs, and it became very easy to split or defect. There are no ideological loyalties. Each of these MLAs is like a dada or a strong man or strong woman in his or her own area. So you have 40 or virtually independent satraps operating and dealing on their own. We saw in the last assembly in Goa, Shiv, 15 of the 17 elected Congress MLAs defect. Ironically, Digambar Kamat was one of the 2 who stayed back. So I think defection is almost built into the DNA now of Goa's politics, and whoever wins, it's a question of winner take all. Had the Congress won the elections in March, a few of the BJP MLAs, some of whom have been ex-congressmen, could well have changed sides. Yeah. So long as the anti-defection law cannot stop these splits and these retail defections, as we call them, they will continue in Goa. But they are a reflection, I think, Shiv, of the larger crisis that besets the Congress in particular, because having weakened in Goa, now out of power for more than a decade, they find it very difficult to keep their restive flock together.